Hello, beautiful people. How are you? I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching us from, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Out with Joy, and my name is Joy. So today we have a very special gentleman with us. I made him do another video after ruining my first video. I can't believe this. Anyway, so guys, today we are a very good guy with us, and he's going to be telling us about him, and we are going to have an interactive session. I'll give him this time to introduce himself and tell us more about him. So Colin, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. All the better for seeing you.
Uh, I'm so happy to see you too.
My name is Colin A. Borden.
Mhm.
I'm an actor that you probably know from Dhar Mann over there on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes.
Um, yeah, that's my main bag right now.
So, and again, I'm gonna ask you to explain to us what the A in A Borden means.
Colin A. Borden. A is for my middle name, Alfred.
Yes.
That's my father's name and his father's name, and his father's father's name was
Mhm.
Alfred Borden. And when it came time to me, my mother was a little nervous about sending a child to school with the name Alfred.
Oh,
She thought that that might not be too modern.
okay.
So they gave me the name Colin, which is, I guess, slightly more modern.
Okay.
And the A went in the middle, Colin
Uh-huh.
Alfred Borden.
Oh, I love that. I think then your mom must be very, very modern.
She's a pretty cool lady, actually. She's pretty modern.
Okay. So, who do you resemble between your dad and your mom?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. Until I turned about 25, I looked almost exactly like my mother. And now
Okay.
every day I am looking more and more like my father. It's really strange. I went
Well,
to Disney World
mm-hmm.
a few years ago,
Yeah.
and they had this, it was in the future section of Disney World. I don't know if you've ever been or
Mm.
but they had this section where they would age you. They take a photograph of you and they age you.
Yeah.
And they took my photograph and I sat there and waited and it turned on and it was a picture of my father. And
Uh-huh.
I legitimately looked around for the hidden cameras to figure out, like, waiting for my dad to show up and like surprise me somehow. And it
Uh-huh.
didn't happen. I just realized, like, oh, it's just happening. I'm just turning into him.
So you're looking a lot more like him the older you grow.
The older I get, the more I look like him, which I guess is fine.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah, it's
handsome guy.
okay. It's okay. He must be really handsome then.
Right.
Basing on the looks of you, of course.
We'll see.
So, Colin, how old are you?
I am 36 years old.
Oh, wow. So, are you dating or single or married?
I am married.
Wow.
We've been married for about 8 or 9 years now. We just had our anniversary,
Uh-huh.
and it's been good.
Wow. Congratulations. Do you have any kids?
I do. I've got two kids.
Uh-huh.
Got an older daughter
Yes.
who's 5. She's going to be 6 in just a couple weeks, and
Oh,
a younger son who's 2.
wow. I can't wait to wish her a happy birthday.
Yes, indeed.
So, um, where was Colin born and raised?
I was born in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
Uh-huh.
and I was raised just outside of it in a town called Springfield.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, and I went to high school in
Uh-huh.
Philadelphia, and
Yeah.
from there I went to college in New Mexico, Santa Fe, New Mexico,
Okay.
in an attempt to really spread my wings. And it was like a real spreading of the wings. It was a real culture shock. The
Wow.
world is very different
I
in New Mexico
understand.
compared to Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
And then from there, I moved to Los Angeles, and I've lived here ever since.
So what did you study in college?
I studied moving image arts, which is the
Wow.
fancy word for film.
Uh-huh.
um, and we were given the real opportunity though to study all aspects of the moving image.
Uh-huh.
We were allowed to, as a freshman, we got cameras, which is really unusual in the American college system of film schools.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make movies right away. We were taught both Hollywood style and artistic things. We were taught the history of cinema.
Yeah.
I got to shoot on actual proper film and then
Okay.
cut that real live film.
Uh-huh.
It was really cool. It was great education.
I love that you loved your experience in college.
Yeah.
So, how many languages do you speak apart from English?
I speak one language, English.
Oh, no, I should actually teach you Swahili, so that would make two.
Come on, give me some.
Okay, what do you want to know in Swahili?
How about what's something nice that you might say to a person, like, oh, it's nice to see you today, or something like that.
Ni vizuri nimekuona. That's a long one. I don't think.
That's a long one. Ni vizuri nimekuona.
Ah, at least you got it. You see, it's not
All right. Ni
bad.
vizuri nimekuona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was writing a film once, and this is maybe a long story, but a portion of it took place in Africa, a made-up town I called Bombanda, and I needed, it involved airships like Zeppelins and things like that, and this ship from Bombanda came down and saved our heroes at the end. So I
Yeah.
wanted to call it something, and I think the name I wound up with was Munga Vifa.
Mungu vifa?
Does that
Ah,
mean anything to you? I think I
no.
I went to Google Translate.
Okay, but I can get the first word. Mungu. Mungu means God.
God, yeah.
Yeah, but Vifa, I don't quite get that. Maybe Vifo or something. I don't really get
Yifu, I
it.
can't remember exactly. I was going for God machine, as in Deus ex machina, the ancient theatrical technique of saving everybody at the end through God.
Okay.
So that's what I was angling for.
I'm not so good in Swahili either, but what is that? What is it that you try to put in God? Let's see if we can put it in Swahili now.
Yeah, God machine.
God machine. I don't quite actually know what machine is in machine. I think that's it, but it's kind of um, driven from a machine, so it's machine. But I don't think if that's the correct word. But I think Mungu machine.
Mungo machine.
Uh, I don't think I don't know. We really have to look that up.
Well, maybe that's what I got. I did it. I got Mungu machine, and I thought, that doesn't sound interesting enough. So I started poking around for other
You
other
must be
words.
really proud about that now that you know at least two words in Swahili.
I feel pretty good about that.
Okay, that's good. So, what do you do during your free time?
During my free time, I like to play piano. I'm not very good at it, but that's okay. I
Yeah.
just like to sit down and just make noise.
Uh-huh.
Making music. I wish it was something that I was technically better at, like singing and playing, just being able to pick up an instrument. But
Uh-huh.
even just sitting down at a piano and clunking out chords,
Yeah.
you're making instant art.
Uh-huh.
With doing something like acting,
Yes.
you kind of need a lot of things, and there's a lot of time in between when you do your thing to when people sort of experience it, or um, and to just sit down at the piano and like have no thoughts in your head and make art.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fantastic feeling.
Or even listen to the music, whatever kind of music you're creating with it.
Yeah.
Colin, how do you think that people perceive you, or what do you think is the perception of people about you?
Well, um, you know, as a growing public persona, I think people do seem to think of me as just being like a real nice guy, which
Uh-huh.
is, I think, true.
Yeah.
I think I'm a nice guy,
Uh-huh.
but you know, that all these characters that I play on Dhar Mann are very good people, and
Uh-huh.
I carry with me a lot of foibles, and I can get quite grumpy
Uh-huh.
and angry.
Yeah.
My kids and I, we were last night. We were putting together our Christmas tree,
Uh-huh.
just like putting little decorations on.
Yeah.
And I got grumpy at that, like because they weren't, you know, they're putting everything in one spot, and then I'm trying to get the lights around, and my
Yeah.
daughter she's giving me the slack, and she's not being fast enough, and it's like it's supposed to be a joyous kind of fun
Yes.
family moment, and
Uh-huh.
there I am going, give me the lights. What are you doing? So you know, I think yeah, the perception of me, I think, is that I'm like this just real chilled out kind guy, and
Yeah.
I'm a kind guy, but I'm not chilled out.
But you look more like a chill guy. Actually, I've never seen you play a character that is, a bad person, apart from my best video of you, the one that you are drunk at and until
Yeah,
you played a prank on. So you
yeah.
you
There's that one. There's the one where Catherine has cancer, and I leave her for Giovanna, and then Giovanna leaves me. Do you remember that one?
I've actually not watched. Is
Oh,
there
you
any
gotta go
cast?
watch.
Have you had any other cast do the same video? I think
Yes, we. I mean
I've
that.
watched it,
Yeah,
but
we
with a
definitely have
different cast.
played together, done a similar sort of thing before.
Oh, okay. I think I've watched that, but I can't remember the cast. Maybe that was you, but then I would have watched it long ago.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was a while ago.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. So you are the guy leaving Catherine for Giovanna.
Yeah, she has cancer. I can't put up with it.
Yeah.
So I go with this new woman, and then shockingly, I get cancer. So you know, I've done it. I think that there is, yeah, there is an element. I mean, I've played bad guys in other shorts, films, and on stage, I've
Okay.
played big, broad villains.
Uh-huh.
Um, so you know, it's within my capability, but I think that especially in the Dhar Mann world,
Yeah.
um, there, you know, we play these stock characters because of the fact that you know, we're trying to appeal to a larger, maybe not English speaking audience.
Uh-huh.
So we have good guys, we have bad
Yes.
guys.
Yeah.
Everything is very kind of obvious,
Uh-huh.
and so you know, if suddenly like a guy like Chaz
Yeah.
turns around and is being like the good guy,
Uh-huh.
the people who watch these things might be a little bit confused,
Yeah.
you know, who aren't who aren't
Oh,
speaking English, who you know, maybe aren't aware of sarcasm or
okay.
you know, things that we kind of throw
Yeah.
around willy nilly when we speak English.
Uh-huh.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. Why we have been um, put into these sort of stock characters is
Uh-huh.
because it is all the more digestible. Not because Chaz himself isn't an incredibly kind guy
Uh-huh.
and an incredibly great actor who can play kind parts.
Uh-huh.
The organization Dhar Mann Studios is just things like where nobody's going to get it if you do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now I actually understand it more. How would you describe your personality?
I asked that. Uh, I like to, as much as I can, go with the flow.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I'm really just looking to sort of seek out happiness and the
Uh-huh.
things that bring joy and comfort.
Uh-huh.
Um, like chatting with you and having a nice cup of tea
Yeah.
is bringing joy and comfort right now.
Uh-huh.
Um, so you know, anything that kind of that brings great stress or sadness or anger, I'm trying to move on from. So as a personality, a kind of, I hope, freewheeling,
Uh-huh.
easygoing kind of
Uh-huh.
human that's just teetering on the edge of freaking out at every second.
Okay. All right. So, have you been to Africa?
I have not yet.
Mm, yeah, I like that, not yet, meaning that you should actually visit Africa.
Yes, yes, I should.
So, which country would you love to travel in Africa, or what would you like to? Why would you like to come to Africa?
Well, it's a place that I know very little about. It feels, and I guess it sort of is, but it feels all the more like it's on the other side of the world. It's a place where life as we know it began. There's great archaeological facts and amazing history there.
Yeah,
So I'd love to go and just tour around and see that, and then all the modern marvels as
yeah.
well, certainly. But a specific place, I don't know. I'd like to go to Egypt,
Uh-huh.
um, and my mother was recently in South Africa. I'm trying to think of where specifically. Um, Zimbabwe. She was
And
getting on airplanes to travel around.
okay. So yeah, but South Africa is a country by its own,
Yeah,
and Zimbabwe is a country by its own. So it's either the region of South Africa, you know, the countries on the southern side of Africa,
yeah.
or South Africa, the country.
She was definitely in South Africa, the country, because she was in Johannesburg.
Okay, so Johannesburg is in South Africa actually, but Zimbabwe I think is in the southern part of Africa.
Okay, I think she went there as well. She was on a big tour.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I get you. So when did you realize that you had a passion for acting and that you wanted to do acting?
When I was in third grade, about 8 years old, a friend of mine who had been in a couple of plays suggested that I come with him
Mhm.
to an audition, and I wanted to, hang out with him,
Yeah.
and it sounded fun enough. So I went, I got a part, and did the play, and it was Alice in Wonderland.
Mhm.
You know that, and I had a ball. It was a lot of fun. The whole process of putting together the play,
Uh-huh.
and then um, the the actual performing of it.
Uh-huh.
So I did another one, and then it just kind of started rolling and snowballing from there. I don't think as like a small kid,
Uh-huh.
younger than 8, I had much passion or drive to do it. I
Mhm.
wanted to be a police officer for a long time.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to be a sign painter for a long time.
Yeah.
Uh, Neither of which job do I have any current skills
Mhm.
for. But yeah, acting just sort of, and then, the one next play led into the next play, led into the next theater company, led into the next theater company. I did some professional theater in the city of Philadelphia, which was great.
Uh-huh.
I did some like local commercials.
Mhm.
I went to a high school for acting specifically,
Okay.
um, where I studied there, and then I'd be in, I'd do the acting all day, and then I'd go to a play rehearsal for the play that we were doing at school, and then
Uh-huh.
I'd leave that play rehearsal and I'd go to the play rehearsal for the play that I was doing outside of school,
Uh-huh.
and it was just all consuming, um, which was marvelous.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but by the time I graduated high school, I think I was a little bit full.
Uh-huh.
And I moved over to directing movies. Um, my high school had a TV film program there with a bunch of like old VHS cameras, and it was perfectly lovely for what it was, but it was a small program.
Mhm.
But I started making movies. I'd been making movies with my friends for a long time, just in our basements.
Uh-huh.
My friend had a camera, so we'd all go over there and make movies. And so I kind of fell in love with that,
Yeah.
and started trying to make movies, and
Yeah.
do. Moved out to Los Angeles
Uh-huh.
with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. We
Uh-huh.
started working in the movie business. Um, I kind of got into the production office, which is like, the people they build the spaceship,
Yeah.
and then the spaceship goes up, and
Uh-huh.
everybody applauds the spaceship and the
Yeah.
astronauts,
Uh-huh.
and then there's the guys back there down in mission control. So that was me, like getting coffee for the guys in mission control, getting no
Okay.
glory, no credit, working long hours.
Uh-huh.
Um, in the kind of the back of my head or whatever, there was always this concept of maybe I'll join an improv team, maybe I'll try and do a play, but the hours were so long,
Uh-huh.
wasn't working. Meanwhile, my wife, who's far more intelligent than I am and creative, was rapidly advancing through the ranks of movies.
Uh-huh.
Um, she got on a show that took her out of the state
Yeah.
to New Mexico, which kind of really coincidentally, that's where we went to college.
Uh-huh.
Different city, but that state. And we were engaged to be married. My show was ending. She was making enough money to cover us for a little while.
Uh-huh.
So she said, why don't, we were done not being together.
Yeah.
Because we've been off and on months, couple months here,
Uh-huh.
then see each other for like a month, couple months away, see each other for a month. So she said, like, just let's get rid of our LA apartment. We'll put some stuff in storage. You
Mm-hmm.
come out to New Mexico, we'll get an apartment here,
Uh-huh.
and we'll figure it out. When this show's over, we get married. This show is over, we got married. She got another show in New Mexico. So
Uh-huh.
we didn't go back to Los Angeles to be with all of our friends and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So there I was, still in New Mexico. She's working 16-hour days. I haven't gotten, I don't have any friends. I think we're only there for a short amount of time. I'm not doing much of anything. We're living in a one bedroom, like one room apartment. The other room being the bathroom, so just these tiny little walls.
Uh-huh.
And so my wife suggests, like, hey, why don't you go out for a play? It's something
Yeah.
to do. It could be fun. Something you used to do. I say, yeah, okay, maybe I'll do that.
Uh-huh.
Go out for the play. It's kind of like already kind of like cool, like the audition process. Like I took a cell phone picture, for my headshot,
Yes.
put together my resume from 10 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just sort of showed up at the audition, and it was already cool. People, we were just doing cold readings from the script.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if I can get a call back out of this, I'll feel pretty good about myself, and I'll go home and say it didn't work and, just keep staring at the wall.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Uh-huh.
point being, I got a part in that play, and it was a play that I'd wanted to do for a long time, called Noises Off, this big, broad comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Rehearsal process, great. Performance, fantastic.
Yeah.
That again, same kind of thing. Just like it wasn't something I kind of planned to do, but it just picked up. I did another play with them. Another theater company came and asked if I would do a play with them, and it just sort of started taking off to the point that when we did finally move back to Los Angeles, it was like, well, this sort of makes sense. Maybe to pursue this.
Yeah.
Again, my wife, far better, more intelligent, more creative, is kind of covering, the majority of what we need to make to support our house, our family.
Yeah.
So I have the time to go to auditions and do Dhar, and it's been good so far.
Wow. So you mentioned Alice in Wonderland.
Mhm.
Are you a cast in Alice in Wonderland?
I was, yeah. So that was the very first play that I did. The very first play
Oh,
was
it was
Alice
a
in Wonderland.
play.
Yeah, when
I
I was 8 years old. So it was a
uh,
long time ago.
oh, okay. I thought it was a movie. I would love to watch it. I've only
Oh no.
I've only read the book, but I've never actually seen a video of it.
Oh, there's some good movies out there. You should look them up.
I think I will. So the next question was about if you have appeared in any other shows, but you've already mentioned that. So how did you meet Dhar, or how did you get connected with Dhar Mann Studios?
I was asked to audition for them on backstage.com, which is how a lot of actors get parts, at least here, through Backstage. And yeah, the producer who was there at the time, named John, wrote to me, asked if I would audition. I auditioned, I got the part, but I couldn't do the part because I can't remember if I had already agreed to do something else or another thing popped up, but I apologized. He said, it's okay. We were making stuff all the time. I said, fantastic. You know, when you're at my level, you get, it's mostly just short films and things like that. Things that are various levels of professional, and lots of things come up. You never hear from people again. You go and you make the movie.
Yeah.
Never sees the light of day for whatever reason. So, you know, I was very happy to have a part in a short film. I couldn't do it. I thought we moved on. A couple of days later, John wrote back and said, hey, we are doing another short. Would you want to be in this one? I said, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I showed up, and it was, man, dad appreciates his son more than his daughter, I think is the title, something like that. It was Catherine Norland, Sophia Ciccarelli-Serna, and Aidan Meekus, which is like, you know, an all-star cast. They slotted me in there, and it turns out, you know, they'd all done a couple of these. I think Catherine was on her 10th or something. Sophia was on her 2nd. Aidan was on his 3rd or 4th, maybe. So they kind of hipped me to the fact that this was like an ongoing series, and that they kind of had this audience, and I got paid for it, and it came out like the next day, and people saw it, and that experience was so different. The experience that was similar was, it was John, who was the producer, was running sound, and when he wasn't doing the microphone, he was like getting lunch and snacks and you know, dealing with the homeowners where we were shooting. And then there was Ruben, who was the director, is the, you know, Dar's right-hand man. He kind of has controlled the videos and all that kind of stuff. He was running the camera and directing, every now and then adjusting what we had. Maybe we had a light, real low budget, 2 people. Like, I hadn't really done that before. I was like, well, this is kind of weird. But Catherine was like, this is good. Like, don't worry, this is good. So that's kind of how I got hooked up with the studio. And then I met Dar on the next video. He happened to be at the offices where we shot everything. When I showed up, and he is not normally around because he's, like, you know, busy. He's running an empire. And even then, he had several businesses. He's got Ruben to take care of everything. Ruben Ortiz and Rushi and Mario are the 2 directors that we have now as well. They cover all that. Dar still writes everything. He's got a couple folks who help him with that every now and then. But yeah, he's running an empire. So I've only met him a couple of times personally. But when I did meet him the first time, he knew my name right away. He stuck his hand out and said, hey, Colin, that last video you did was great. We're so happy to have you back. Shook my hand. Super nice guy. It was like pretty incredible. I thought that he would, you know, do that, to take the time and to remember my name and to approach me and say hello was an absolute kindness.
I know it happens most with bosses. They happen to, you know, not have that memory of keeping names about people, and then when you get a boss that actually remembers your name, you feel, I really meant something.
It's special. Yeah, it's nice.
So how would you describe your experience in acting, not only in Dhar Mann, but in other videos? What is your experience? How would you describe your experience in acting?
How would I describe my experience in acting? It's a real rush. You know, overall, career-wise, it's really been just a total joy, because I have a great fortune, I think, in that after I have worked with a company, a director, um, a producer, what have you,
Uh-huh.
I'm often asked to come back. So, you know, be it a play, a short film, you know, or Dhar Mann, you know.
Wow.
Um, so there is an aspect of, as much as I am constantly banging my head against the wall, hoping I could get another part or another audition or something.
Uh-huh.
I have to really take back and take a step back and just acknowledge that um, I've had a great run so far
Uh-huh.
of projects that I didn't necessarily think, you know, would come my way.
Uh-huh.
Um, I just, someone will call me up and say like, "Hey, we're doing another thing. You want to come?" And I say,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah, that sounds great." And there's great fortune in that, in being able to not direct my own path, you know, and just being kind of open to opportunities coming and saying yes to things and you know, taking the joy
Yeah.
from the unexpected. So yeah, it's been my experience has been a real rush so far. I've not seen any of it coming.
Oh. So that's nice. So have you ever forgotten words or your lines during acting? Tell us about it.
Constantly, constantly. Um, yeah, everybody does. I think there, you know, on an like on in a play, when you put 2 hours worth of dialogue into your head, um, it feels much more terrifying when you suddenly go up on a line. I've looked at actors.
Uh-huh.
You know, we've rehearsed the play for a month and a half. We've
Yeah.
been performing it for 3 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and I'll look at them and, like, you know, with my eyes say like, "Aren't you going to say your line now?" And they'll look back at me with their eyes and go like, "It's your line, dude." And they go, "Oh my god!" And
Yeah.
you know, your brain, and
Yeah.
it's probably just because you removed yourself from the moment or whatever.
Uh-huh.
If you just let the play take you, you'll be fine. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's pretty terrifying. But it has not killed me yet. I have not died, so that's good.
Yeah.
And nobody has thrown anything at me, so that's good. And then on, you know, on a movie set, you don't want to do it. There's so much time and money being
Mhm.
used,
Yeah.
that you don't want to be the one to cause any sort of delay. You know, ideally, that's not happening.
Uh-huh.
Um, your job as an actor is to show up with the lines memorized
Uh-huh.
and then give them something from that.
Yeah.
So in the act of giving them something, there will be adjustments. There will be time spent on something that, you know, you thought was worthwhile, but the director didn't, maybe. So, you know, you're always going to be doing something like, you know, back
Yeah.
and forthing a little bit. So in that process, if you blow a line, it's okay because they were probably going to do it again anyway.
Uh-huh.
It feels a little more forgiving, I guess, than say on a play. But
Uh.
yeah, all the time I blow a line all the time.
That is, it must be really funny when you are sitting down and you try to remember those moments of like, it's your time to, act your play out.
It's
So,
very funny. Yeah, and there are times you don't forget, I think. Unfortunately, you can forget every line, like, you know, 3 years away from the play, you forget
yeah.
every line, you forget every performance, but you remember those moments that you really screwed up. Those keep you up at night. But the audience doesn't.
Yeah, actually,
Just you.
that's right. What is your best and your worst experience in acting? I mean, moment of acting, if at least you can pinpoint it or something.
Um, well, you know, I'll give you one best, and then I'll give you a longer answer for best. One
Okay.
of my favorite moments was I was playing in this. It was called the complete, or not the complete works. Do you know Star Wars?
Uh-huh.
We were doing a Shakespearean version of Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
um, and so I was playing the bad guy, and I was wearing this big mask,
Uh-huh.
couldn't see my face, and the whole tenor of the evening was comedy. It was a big funny thing. We had a huge crowd. They were
Yeah.
drinking beer.
Uh-huh.
They were all enjoying themselves, having a good time.
Uh-huh.
And during the rehearsal period,
Uh-huh.
this one guy to my left he says a line, and then I turn to him and I reply with my line. His line is delivering bad news. So
Okay.
I'm wearing this mask. You can't see my face. He delivers the bad news, and I start to turn my head, and all I had to do was that, and it started to get a laugh from the audience.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, the slower I turn my head, the longer this laugh goes.
Yeah.
And I was able to just, and this faceless mask, and the
Uh-huh.
crowd is going nuts. And there was just like a beautiful moment of audience
Yeah.
actor chemistry. And
Mhm.
by the time I finally got here, I had my scene partner laughing,
Uh-huh.
which always feels pretty good. Um, so yeah, that stands out as a pretty fantastic moment. Otherwise, everything about acting is fantastic. Like that moment where I connected with my scene partner, where I connected with the audience. That's the joy of acting. So any moment that I can really feel that flowing
Uh-huh.
is really wonderful. We had it on the Dhar Mann feature film,
Uh-huh.
in the scene with Sophia, Catherine, and I, where we're all yelling in her bedroom.
Yes.
I mean, we did that a lot, like 15 times maybe by the time we've covered every angle, a couple takes
Uh-huh.
on every person, maybe not 15, but a lot. But every time we had that same mojo, we had the same juices flowing,
Yeah.
because we were, the three of us were just connected to each other, and
Uh-huh.
the crew didn't matter. Ruben with his camera shoving it right in our faces didn't matter, because it was just about those three humans,
Yeah.
and we were able to share that moment. So that's the best of acting,
Okay.
when you can do that. A worst experience, I don't know. There have been a couple times when a fellow actor has had more ego than um, camaraderie.
Yeah.
And that makes for a slightly lousy experience, but nothing that would really ruin it for me, and nothing that would sour the whole pot for me. But
Uh-huh.
you run into that. It's bound to happen. This is a business of
True.
egos.
You must really love acting.
It's pretty good.
So, which is the best video, mostly you've done, that you've ever acted, a video that you would be told to repeat and you were like, absolutely, I would do that over and over again.
That would be really hard to answer, because they there are so many that were a joy to work on, to make. The process was so wonderful, be it the camaraderie on set, the in between moments, or be it the actual acting.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's the process of making it, and then there is the final product. Sometimes of which the two never really, they, by the time we see the product, it feels foreign. You're like, oh, they chose that take. That seems kind of strange. And
Uh-huh.
um, oh, I didn't realize I thought that they were shooting here, but they were kind of shooting off. I would have played it a little differently,
Uh-huh.
so there are, especially Dhar Mann, because that's a lot of what I've been doing.
Yeah.
There are ones that I think were really wonderful, that stand out for me.
Mhm.
Like there's the episode where Mare is my sister and Chaz is her boyfriend and Catherine is my wife, and we
Uh-huh.
can't seem to get Mare out of our house.
Yes.
Um, not not a powerful story, not
Mhm.
not one of the ones that
It's
resonates necessarily
beautiful.
with people. It was good. It's good. I think the acting in it is fantastic, but we're not, it's not high drama
Yeah.
or anything like that. But the experience of making that with Rushi and with those three actors was just so much fun, and so
Uh-huh.
great that one is really special to me. Um, the one where with postpartum depression,
Uh-huh.
Catherine and I, was really special. We were kind of trying to do different things than we normally do on a Dhar Mann set. Rushi again was the director on that one. You know, those are really special to me. But the ones that were also special in the shooting, and then I think the product was really the final movie really resonating with people was like the homeless artist one. James and I think we had a lot of fun doing that. We had good chemistry together. We were kind of, I think, pushing each other to different places than we had kind of planned on. And the production of that was just such a blast. Like, I have a line in it, like, today felt like a movie, and that making that one felt like a movie. Like, we had lots of costumes, lots of sets, lots of extras. There's a moment, we're sitting in the back of a Porsche, and we get out and people are cheering, like, stuff like that. It's pretty special. So I don't know if I could, I would not be able to say which of my children is my favorite, nor would I be able to say which of those movies is my favorite, because they're all special in their own way.
How would you describe your acting experience with Dhar Mann? Oh, wait, before you answer that, how many Dhar Mann videos have you appeared in?
I just found out the other night, 50.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm in the top 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess I really have some work to do, because I think I've watched like 30 of yours, to say the least. Yes. So
do it.
So
there's no way to keep up. I mean, one comes out every day. There's no way to keep up with them anymore.
That's true. And with everyone acting, movies. So you don't actually choose that this is the cast that I'm going to follow the videos about, and they're all very good,
Oh yeah.
So how would you describe Dhar Mann acting in one word?
Dhar Mann acting in one word?
Sorry, experience.
Experience. The experience of working with Dhar Mann?
Yes.
Joyous.
Wow. I love that. That's so wonderful. So we are now winding up, so I would like you to give an advice to any upcoming actor or actress who is looking up to you as a mentor or something of the sort. So
oh boy. Wow. So a lot of people ask me, like, my dream is to be an actor. How do you do that? And first, my first answer is to define what that means for you. If being an actor is like winning an Oscar, to be perfectly honest, that's not going to happen. One person wins it a year, and multiple people have won it multiple times. So the odds are so stacked against you. But if your goal to be an actor is to support yourself, well, that's very possible. If your goal to be an actor is to make art, that's even more possible. So, first define for yourself what that means. And then to take it from a dream and turn it into a goal. And the way to start an acting career, as I know it, as I have done it, as other few friends of mine have done it, is to start at the bottom and look up in your local town. Joy, you have in your local town right now a theater community,
true,
and a film community.
Yes.
Both of those things need you right now, believe it or not. You are a special personality, and you bring with you different choices that directors and producers have not seen yet. That's you have to keep that in mind. So you reach out to your local theater community, you find out when they're having auditions, you go to the auditions. Again, like I said earlier, my first headshot was a cell phone picture. I sat outside on my porch, so I had kind of good lighting, and I took a picture of myself, and I printed it out on 8.5 by 11 regular old white paper, and brought that to the audition. All they wanted to do was have a reference picture of me, right?
Yes.
You go to the auditions, you don't book that first one, you go to the next one. Because guess what? You weren't tall enough. You didn't have the right hair color.
Yeah.
Acting is as manic as that. It's like so frustrating because you can go, you show up at the audition, you give a brilliant performance, you act for yourself, you act for the people proctoring it, and then you go home. You get it or you don't. Those are the two options.
Yes.
You get it, you're off to rehearsals. You don't get it, you go to the next audition. You get it or you don't. That's how you start an acting career. Go find within your local acting community the person giving lessons. Try to get yourself a lesson that is about scene study, not about like, this is my opinion, not about like real like fundamentals or doing monologues or learning how to be a tree or whatever. All that kind of stuff kind of comes in with hard scene study. Acting is, who are you talking to? Where are you? What do you want? That's going to define your whole personality and how you're going to kind of cut through a scene and make choices depending on the dialogue, depending on what's needed of you. So that would be my advice. Does that make sense? Go seek out in the town where you live. They have it. Your local film community and your local theater community, and start auditioning. The local film community, I didn't really address that, is going to be at like a community college or at any kind of college in the area. They need actors. They really desperately need actors. I know this because I went to film school. You take your selfie picture, you submit it over there, and they call you, and you go to an audition. You get it or you don't. You go to the next audition.
Okay, that's a really, really good advice. Given a chance, what's the one thing you would change about the world or Earth?
I would ask people to not have fear for other people. Just have more acceptance. Stop walking around with fear of the unknown, of your neighbor. I like how big and diverse and strange our world is, that there are so many people have these, they pray to this thing and they wear those clothes and they love that person. And that's what makes a society beautiful. And we live in one world society. When would you and I ever speak if it weren't for the internet, if it weren't for the fact that we live in a world now? This is our society now. It's not this tiny little community.
Yes.
And if we progress with fear and not being accepting and open towards what other people have, we're going to get real ugly real fast. And we've kind of trended in that direction, I think, in some dangerous times here. So yeah, not, the question isn't why are you doing that? It's why are you doing that? Tell me more about why you love that person, why you do that thing, why you eat that food, why you wear that. And don't homogenize, don't start changing cultures, because it's so wonderful to have all this diversity and all. We just need to not stamp it out. We need to encourage it and get excited.
As we end the video, I would like for you to speak to your fans directly. Assume that it's not me and you here. So speak to your fans, tell them something good or nice, and then give them your social media handles so they could follow you there.
My social medias are Colin A. Borden on Instagram and TikTok, and I think YouTube as well is also Colin A. Borden. I don't have much on my YouTube channel right now, but Instagram and TikTok are a lot of fun. I'm playing a game on TikTok right now with followers, and every now called the So You See Bowl. You got to check it out. And then on Instagram, I like to play this game called What's in the Box every now and then. So if you follow me there, we're doing fun stuff. And as a word to my the folks out there, I just want thank you for the support of Dhar Mann Studios and of the videos that I am in. because it's afforded me wonderful opportunities like the chance to chat with Joy today. So thank you for the continued support. I hope things keep getting wild here, and every day Dhar Mann seems to be doing more and more and more, and hopefully we'll do more and more and more, and maybe one day we can travel the world and actually meet in person, and that'll be exciting.
Wow, I would love that.
Yeah.
I can't actually wait to meet you in person. Maybe the next time we are doing an interview, it will be a face-to-face interview with
That
your
would be pretty
Oscar
cool.
award. I wish you all the best, by the way. I wish you all the best.
You as well.
So, guys, that's all about it. We've had so much fun talking to Colin A. Borden. So, guys, that's just about it. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. This is Out with Joy, and my name is Joy. And don't forget to follow Colin on his social media handles at Colin A. Borden. And I will put his YouTube link below the video so that you can also subscribe to his YouTube channel. So that's all about it. So until the next video, see you guys. And I would like for you to comment down below with name of the next person you want to see on my channel and the sort of questions you want for them to answer. Yeah, bye guys, see you.
Thank you, Joy.